Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good, good. How long were you waiting? I just noticed I saw your little pop up.
Yeah,
Admit you in.
probably a couple minutes.
Okay, my fault.
You're good.
Yeah, how are things going, man?
Oh, it's good. Just busy day, but just having fun with it, enjoying the off season, and getting ready to compete. Probably start prep maybe in a couple weeks.
Oh,
Getting
really?
back.
So
Oh
you're
yeah,
gonna compete at the top of the year?
yeah. So it looks like spring 2026.
Wow.
It's gonna be Texas.
Okay. Okay. What show exactly?
So my coach was telling me there's a show. I think it's I'm trying to think. I know it's up in Dallas. I'd have to look at the schedule, but for sure it's going to be like I think it's March or April. So trying to get the NPC Pro card, got the
Okay.
OCB Pro card already, but I love the NPC. The NPC
Yeah.
I think is just different. Like it's you get the freaks, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bigger federation. I mean, at some point they're bound to take over whether we like it or not. It is what it is, you know. So
Especially with them bringing the natural shows and everything, which I'm a big fan of because it like like I've always had the thought of like, hey, like trying to go down that route, but it's my coach is Caleb's big on that, on like really pushing your body until like it's like, hey, like we can't push this anymore. It might need a little bit more intervention into it. But I'm just excited to see where I can go. Like we do like genotype reports, all that type of stuff to really
wow.
maximize. And it's a game changer because you learn just about everything about your body, like what, like really how far we can peak the body
Hmm.
rather than just like, you got some coaches who are just going to be like, oh, like, I think you can do this. I think you can do that. But when you like know, like, hey, like we can push your body up to this point, you get the most out of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, he sounds like a he sounds legit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, what I like about Caleb, like, I'm a man of faith. And
Hmm.
he's a man of faith, and so like you can really relate to him because you have some coaches, like one coach tried to sign me like a contract, and I could tell it was very business oriented. It was like, you will
Hmm.
compete when I want you to compete. I'll pay for your flights, your hotel, your entry fees, all that good stuff, but you're going to compete when I want you to compete. And that was right after and he knew I had a coach, and this was when I was going for my OCB Pro card, and I just didn't like that. It's all about the integrity of the game a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, hey, like I appreciate the offer, but Kayla's a day one. I've known him since high school, and
Okay.
we were both injured together. During the rehab, and we just started talking, and then life comes into play, and I moved away from College Station and went off to play college football and everything like that, and then a couple years after joined the military and everything, he hit me up and he was like, "You should bodybuild." And I was like, "Dude, I'm not wearing a thong on stage. Like that's weird." And he there was never any pressure. It was like, "Hey, I think you could be really good at bodybuilding. I think you can go far in it. So like, just think about it." And then I thought about it, I said, "Hey, after 4th of July, let's get to work." Because I'm a very competitive person. I always feel like if you're not actively doing something to better yourself, I feel like you're just wasting time.
Sure. Sure.
And
Yeah.
so
So,
like,
how many years total have you been bodybuilding? Because
oh man,
it
so
sounds like
I
a
would not very long. So
okay.
like, I've only competitively, so that was summer of 23. That's when I started, and we competed the first show October of 23, and that was the San Francisco NPC San Francisco, and I was like, cool, let's do it. Super like raw at it, not the greatest at first. Placed third, I think it was, in classic, first in bodybuilding. And I was like, okay, we're gonna do bodybuilding. We're never gonna go to classic again because like I was kind of afraid a little bit of like losing. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Hmm.
And he's like, no, like you're gonna do classic. You're gonna do bodybuilding too, but your money's in classic. And I trust the process. Like we just gotta work on the posing. Your body's gonna catch on to it. You're gonna start slimming down a lot more. You have the skin texture, you have the muscularity, you got all of that going on. But now we just have to maximize it so that we have to trust the plan and trust the process. And after that, I think I did 5 shows after that, something like that,
Hmm.
and, it was we did San Francisco, then, OCB. Oh, no, then LA at the, LA Fit Expo, and that was in January, and then that's where I got, my first overall. So only 2 shows, got the overall, and then we did, OCB San Francisco, got the pro qualifier and another overall, and then, after that, he said, "Hey, like, since you're a pro now, so let's do Jordan Cup." And that was an experience, like competing against guys who, like are just freaks alone naturally,
Hmm.
and also kind of learning like, okay, like each organization and each level, like whether it be amateur or pro level, there's such a big difference between organizations. And so placed fourth overall in that. So I was kind of upset about not getting the prize money,
Sure.
and he was just like, like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to do another show after? And I was like, yeah, like I'd like to end the season off with something, with the win. And
Yeah.
so we did the Central California and show and NPC side and killed it there. I think that was my best peak and everything. Um and yeah, and so Caleb's been along the ride the whole entire time. He's very flexible on everything too. Like he just was like, hey, like what works for you? Like what do you need? Like, do you want to go total depletion and then try to fill you up towards the end? And so we would always experiment, which I love
Hmm.
about Caleb because I'm like, hey, my body feels this way. So like, can we do it this way? And he'll have his process, but like, okay, like it's your body, let's get to work. And every single time I've only improved. I've never regressed. It's only been an improvement, which I love.
That's
I'm big
awesome.
on.
That's awesome, man. So, I mean, you've done a lot in this like short amount of time.
Yeah.
Um, I know you don't know exactly the name of the show, but you already qualified for I guess for the next. They don't do nationals for natural, but whatever. I guess it'd be like the Pittsburgh Pro or the Ben Wieters
Yep.
within IPB. Do you know if you're going to compete at either one after you qualify?
You know, um, I've put a lot of thought to it, and before I would commit and say like, yeah, for sure gonna compete in one of those. Um, but I think it's kind of a little bit maturity when it comes to
Take your
competing
time.
and doing. You
Take your
got to
time.
take your time, and
So,
um,
how old are you exactly?
I'm 29,
I mean, yeah, no, you got plenty of time, especially
and
in,
that's the
the natural side of things, man. We have a real long time, especially from what I've learned recently. Like there's
oh
guys still
yeah.
competing, they're like their 50s, even up older than that.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I want to make this at some point like a not just a hobby, but something where I'm just like, oh yeah, this is like what we can do, and I know there's potential for it. And Caleb knows a lot of people in the industry. Him being an IFBB pro himself,
Hmm.
and also all the gyms he works out of, and him as a coach and trainer. Like, there's a lot of ability there. So I'm just enjoying the ride, not overly committing, and Caleb's along the ride with me on that, and just really saying like, hey, like let's take our time, let's enjoy it, let's not have bad preps to where you feel like dying, and we got to listen to the body and give what the body needs, and that's why I love him. He's a brother at the end of the day.
Yeah, dude, that sounds great. I mean, we can talk about the review you made. So,
Oh, yeah.
dude, when I made or when I started this project, the idea was for people to be able to tell their stories and for people to like come together and find the best coaches and really help grow the industry. And when I imagine somebody creating a review, what you created was exactly what I was trying to do. Like
100%.
100%. I like read it and I was like, okay, he gets it. He understands what this is, and I freaking loved it. You called him the title maker.
Yeah, 100% title maker.
Like that was that was a dope title. And I looked at his page. I kind of went through and I saw that he's like really in the trenches with his athletes. Like he's everything you've said. It's 100% what I've looked and found and seen him to be. Um, with him being like family to you, someone who goes above and beyond. How has that affected like other areas of your life?
You know, Caleb is he's younger than me. I think he's like 2 years younger than me,
Okay.
but he is like a big brother and a mentor. He, I guess his mentality of just being very controlled, and it's like controlled chaos. When it comes to like how it's really affected me, it's like, okay, like everything in my life now is all about, okay, like let's not overdo it. Let's dial it back and let's actually assess everything. Let's assess, whether it be at work, like let's assess, do we really need to put this much effort into it? Does this really need to, come an emotional captivity of, am I gonna, overreact? How's our process of actually getting the work done? And that's something he's always say, like, we have to get the work done. We have to put the work in. And so understanding like, okay, bodybuilding, like I came in as, super awkward poser, not really knowing like my own body and my own ability, not really trusting that, because I'm only used to that football dynamic,
Hmm.
to being like, oh, like, okay, like let's go do a show like every month almost, or like every other month or whatever, and trusting that and feeling when I walk into a show, I'm gonna win. And it's not a cockiness, it's not overconfidence, it's not, overzealous, but it's just this control and understanding of the situation, of my own emotions, my own ability, and it's elevated everything. I'm a captain of the United States Army, and we're leaders first. Um, but when you have a coach like Caleb who is able to really just put these, I guess, lessons in mind and say like, hey, like we got to be there. We have to understand. We have to be patient in response and actually assess the situation, assess, the environment, assess like, hey, where are we at mentally or and physically?
Hmm.
It makes you a better leader. And it just it just makes me more effective in my delivery and my decision making, and also just like, I guess, my own mental self-being, and being at peace with, hey, this is what we want, so let's put in the work. And even if we don't get it, kind of like the 2024 Jordan Cup, or was it, yeah, 24 Jordan Cup, okay, so be it. We put in the work and we know we put 100% into it, so let's get it next time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Like, I think that everything you're saying, uh, it really reflects, uh, it reflects the how the industry should be overall. So, with you being in a leadership position yourself and having someone like Caleb under your belt, or a part of your life, part of your system, you're the perfect person to promote Caleb and let the world know how a leader can lead other leaders into becoming better leaders, right?
100%.
So I totally love that. Um, so I want to get more into your background now.
Hmm.
So you've talked about football, the military. Do you want to give me how long have you been an athlete? When did you start? What was your motivation?
Yeah. So I guess I've always been an athlete. I'll start. I gotta give credit to my mom and dad first. And I got credit to God. All glory to God. for the genetics and stuff like that that allow all this to happen. My dad was a in high school was a all state cross country runner.
Hmm.
My mom, she's a marathon runner. Um, and so that endurance part comes into play, and that perseverance comes into play. And my dad also played college football. And so for me, like I started off playing football in fourth grade. I played offensive lineman. I was a chubby kid growing up.
Right
I
there with you.
loved my I loved my McDonald's, my two supersized fries, my 12-piece McNugget, and my McFlurry. And so I played football and everything, and um, I think 12 years of football. Really didn't break through, and when it came to football until I moved to College Station High School, that's where I met Kaleb, and they demanded excellence. And that's when I was really like, oh, this is what it's like to be an athlete, like where you have to have off-season grind, you have to have in-season grind, like you have to be intelligent in how you're running the ball or you're reading a block. And then that allowed me to play college football over at Cornell College,
Okay.
and played there as a running back. It wasn't what I expected in terms of like how I would do because I always had aspirations to be an NFL player. But hey, it's harder to be an NFL player than it is to be a brain surgeon.
Thousand
Um,
percent. Yeah.
and so like I got into powerlifting. I love to lift, but just never really knew how to like be like cut and big. And so it'd either be like, lose a bunch of weight, look super shredded, or put on a lot of weight and look kind of like you're bulky, but like you're kind of on that borderline, brother.
Hmm.
And so, I was a track runner, did all that type of stuff. So I think everything led to bodybuilding because I was able to really mix it all. Like I run marathons. I love to run. Like my 2 mile time is like in the a 10:30 to 11 minute mark. Um and everyone's always surprised, like, dang, this dude is like he's just running. And how I love to lift, like legs for days, like it's always been super easy. So, that's why I give credit to my parents because that endurance athlete plus the speed aspect, the strength aspect, um, it all comes from them. It all comes from God. And yeah, that's really
Hey
my
man,
background athletically.
that's awesome, man. Um, so you've talked about yourself, you've given people a background on that, talked about Caleb and really pushed y'all's relationship and how, you know, uh how how important it is to have someone like that in your life. Um, what would you say is what would you say how important is it for athletes to share their coaching experiences in general?
I say 1,000%, because everybody looks good because it's a game of social media. And that's my biggest problem with this sport and just in general when it comes to like as a coach, your job is to overlook, give oversight advice, to
Hmm.
be accountable not just for what you're doing as a coach, but also how the athlete responds to the training and how you're willing to augment it to what you think is good for them, but also what is good for the athlete. You cannot do harm to the athlete. And so social media in terms of coaching, they only show the winners. They don't show their losses. They only show their wins.
Sure.
And so when if it's a brand new person coming into the sport, they're just going to think like, oh, like that is the real title maker there, because all they do is produce winners.
Hmm.
And then you find out like, oh, they have like 100 and something clients, and they just throw them into shows. Kaleb told me about. I'm not here to trash talk anybody, but
Sure.
Kaleb told me about a coach that he had, and that coach recommended that they eat Snicker bars and stuff like that. And his peak was not great, and so he found a coach that really listened to him, and I think that's also helped inspire him and give him the ability to be a great coach. And the cool thing about Kaleb, like he had an athlete compete the other day. Sometimes it plays third, sometimes it plays fourth.
Sure.
Sometimes they win overalls, but he shows everybody. and then he always gives them credit, and he's willing to critique, and he's willing to actually be constructive about all of it and say like, hey, this is great, but here's where it could be better. And you know where it comes from. It's
Yeah.
never from a place of like, oh, you failed me, like some coaches are. It's never where it's like a business transaction where it's like, I will only give you favor and only support you as long as you win. And winning is everything to a degree, because winning is a process, and that's something Kaleb always puts out there that a lot of these coaches don't. They don't show the struggles, they don't show the hardships, they don't show um, the just the sacrifice that is put into it. But Kaleb showcases all of that, in a degree that's not compromisable to his athletes. But he wants people to understand like this is a process. This is not an overnight success. This is through failure, because failure is the real teacher. It's
Hmm.
not it's not your wins that teach you the most, it's your losses. And that's what Kaleb really tries to push, because he's like, hey, remember when you lost there? What did we do wrong here? Okay, and it's never what did you do wrong, so what did we do wrong? And that's what I love about it, because he makes it's a team.
I
And
love
he's
that.
like, your failures are my failures. That means I could be a better coach. And you could be a better athlete here, but it starts with me as a coach. I need to make sure that I recognize where you messed up, and that's on me. And we're going to win next time. We're going to be better next time. And so, like, that's Kaleb is everything a coach should be, at least to me. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But it shows through my performance, and it shows through his other athletes' performance. And so, like, opinions are opinions, but results are results.
100%. 100%. Um, so how do you feel a platform like My Muscle Connect can kind of shift the industry in a positive direction and allow everybody to kind of have a place to tell their story?
Transparency, and that's the biggest thing. Transparency, where it is not you're not stuck in these like, well, if I post this or say this, this organization, this coach that knows X people in this organization are going to potentially, you
Come
know,
after me.
come after you, mess up your ability of like where you place, because at the end of the day, like people are people. But your platform allows where there's real transparency, where people can be like, okay, this is a non-biased, non like reactionary platform, where it's like I'm looking to find the best coach that suits me. And that's the thing, like Caleb might not suit everybody, and that's how it is. But your platform allows there at least to have that transparency if people take the time to really give credit to their coach or discredit in areas where they don't like it, and then they can make their own opinions, because at the end of the day, life is about personal choices, and that's what your platform is. It's a platform of choice and real review and transparency.
Yep. That's awesome, man. Um, so what advice would you give to an athlete looking for a coach right now?
You have to understand your goals. You have to have a goal. Without a goal, it's kind of like, well, I want to be the IFB, I want to be an IFBB pro. Okay, like what's your goal? Okay, understand where you're at. And then from there, it's like, okay, like how much am I willing to sacrifice? How much work am I willing to put in? And once you're there, it's like, okay, like time to see what coaches are out there and who actually relates to my goals, my willingness to sacrifice, my willingness to put in the work. And there it is. It's too easy.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. No, I'm there, man. I love that. Um, I mean, we know what's next for you. We know what you plan on doing. As far as competing next year, is there anything else you want to share? Like, you're a person. I see that you're a certified personal trainer.
Yeah, I know. So, I tried doing that, and like I'm a certified personal trainer, and because I like coaching,
Sure.
I like building I like building cultures. I think it's important to build a culture, whether you're a teammate or you're a coach or a certified trainer.
Hmm.
Um, I found out by doing that, I was like, this isn't my time yet, because everything's about timing and pace. And I was like, I need to get to a point as an athlete to where like I need to invest in myself first before I can invest in others
Yep.
in that capacity. And I think when you don't do that, you overstretch. So like I would love to go back into the the certified training route and have my NASM certification and everything like that. But for right now, like like I'll give people plans, and I'm really big on like the facts.
Hmm.
Like I will be like, hey, like you need to get geomet your genotype report.
Hmm.
And I think I refer that to people because I'm like, hey, like it's 2025, man. You got Chat GPT to kind of help you out a little bit if you don't have the money for it. And that's how I was as a trainer. I'd be like, hey, like, okay, what can you afford? Um, and it's like, okay, then I'm gonna do the best I can to get you where you need to be within your window of like, ability. And sometimes I can't afford it. I'll be like, okay, just write your free plan. Just tell me what you like to eat and I'll tailor some up and give it to you because fitness is free at the end of the day. Like that's my personal belief.
Yep.
And, it's kind of like each one teach one and providing opportunity because a lot of times people just need someone to take a chance on them.
Yeah.
And as certified trainers, our job really is to both inspire and also allow a window of opportunity that can be taken day in and day out. And, when we I guess, start making it strictly financial based in terms of our income because don't get me wrong, like it's time and effort, so it should be paid for. But when we don't allow, like, it's like, hey, situations happen and someone you can tell in their eyes, I want to be healthy. I just need someone to take a chance on me and help me out. 10 out of 10 every single time. I'll invest some time in them because that person, that could have saved their life.
Yeah. And
Um,
I think this is where me and you really, really align. I was
mhm.
gonna kind of get to this. I feel like one of the reasons that you didn't push this is because you almost have to force it into becoming a business to become livable, right? Versus just
Yep.
helping people. And it's a tough balance, especially if you're also an athlete, right?
Yeah, it's extremely tough because it's like, yeah, like I know I could make a lot of money doing this. And people have asked me all the time, like, why don't you like really like market yourself and everything?
Hmm.
And I'm all about authenticity. I don't want to be the person that uses their platform in an irresponsible way, which I think happens a lot because we get lost in like, oh, they post their car and they flex in front of it.
Hmm.
They The new trend right now is like whiteboard bros where they write stuff that's in like it's kind of bogus. Like it's
Yeah,
fake.
you gotta tell me about this whiteboard bros thing. What is this about?
So like, you have these guys that will write this totally you can't even read their handwriting and they're trying to be like, do this, do that, trying to offer advice. And some of it is actually good. But
Hmm.
then they pivot and they're like, if you want to like save your relationship or if you want to, maximize your
Gotcha.
prowess as a man, yeah. And if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
an
yeah,
athlete and join my Discord, join this
yeah,
and that. And
yeah,
I'm just like, they don't care about you.
yeah.
And that's the thing. It's all about authenticity. It's not about, it's wrong to take advantage of people in weak spots. So like I'm trying to find the middle ground of like, hey, like at some point making this like I guess a career or like maybe a side avenue of income,
Hmm.
but at the same way make it to where everyone can be involved regardless of income bracket because I think I'm just big on like hey, like we're all humans, we all have our struggles, we all have our limitations. So how can we really provide a network and windows of opportunity for people who just at the time don't they can't afford top-notch training or fitness advice or dietitian advice and that's my goal one day to do that and so until I can do that I'm really not going to like I'm not going to put myself out there to be a trainer because it doesn't align with my goal of making fitness and ultimately health a large scale ease of access, opportunity for everyone.
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm totally in agreement with you, man. That's pretty much how I feel and why I'm in the same place as you. Of course, I stick to my corporate job.
Yep.
Um, I'm an athlete, and I'm building this business that's hopefully can help me do the thing I want to do, which is help people find great coaching. Because I also know there's
Yeah,
plenty of great coaches out there. It's like, okay, well, let me help direct people in that direction because I'm still able to do what I want to do, even if I can't, you know.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing I love about who you are as a person. I loved like when I was walking that at that show and everything, and I saw your booth, and I was just talking to you, and that's why I was like, oh, I'm gonna do the review. I'm gonna do whatever I can. And when you said like, hey, can we do an interview? I was like, absolutely,
Yeah, I appreciate
because
it, man.
like I see this as something that is needed in this industry because it's transparency, and then at the same time, like it shows people like here it is. Like, 'cause a lot of times, like, you only see the people on social media with millions of followers
Hmm.
push forward. Everyone's like, that's, those are the only coach you can see that will get you results. Well, the other ones who are up and coming, they get kind of washed to the side because, like, yeah, like, they're just not as prowess in their identity on the
Hmm.
social media or the fitness world. And once you have like your platform out there like in full scale, like man, I think a lot of people are going to be grateful and super appreciative of the work you're doing because it's man, you're doing God's work, man. It's
Yeah, I'm
amazing.
trying. I'm trying. So yeah, we'll keep pushing this thing. But I want to say uh thank you. I don't want to take up too much of your time for the day.
Oh, not at all, man. I love doing it.
This is awesome. I'm sure we're gonna do this again.
100%.
I'm very much on board of doing that, Dad. You're great. Um, where can people find you?
So they can find me on Instagram. God, I'm so bad with social media.
Yeah,
Like,
not.
so I think it's let me double check real quick. Okay. So I'm not big on social media. Like
I'm like this last year has been me trying. So
it really has
I'm,
been me trying this year. So they can find me at Adam A Bond underscore OCB Pro.
okay.
Um they can message me. You guys can hit me up, ask for advice. You know, you got stuff going on in your life. I'm also certified in I'm a suicide prevention leader in the United States Army. So if you're going through a hard time, mental health is everything. Hit me up. I can refer you to, get help. I can refer you to, just talk to a psychiatrist or where to point you for therapy. Obviously background, NASM CPT trainer. So if you need fitness advice, absolutely, or just need someone to talk to, or really, ask like, hey, like I want to do this, or I want advice on this or that, whether it be career, bodybuilding, whatever, hit me up. I'm an open book. Human at the end of the day. I'm not perfect whatsoever, but I will always be there to support and help anyone who needs it.
I love that, man. Well, I appreciate you for taking this again, and I'll hit you up later.
Absolutely, brother.
All
I
right.
appreciate it again. Thank you.
No problem, man. Take care.
Bye, man.
Later.